Tell me who you spend time with, and I will tell you who you are. The Stoics taught that character is contagious, that your peace, your purpose, and your discipline can all be strengthened or destroyed by the people you let into your life. Marcus Aurelius warned, "Be careful not to be infected by the passions of the crowd." Today we're uncovering 11 types of people you should never befriend, not out of judgment, but out of self-preservation. Because your life is shaped by what you tolerate. Let's begin. 1. Those who drain your energy. Seneca once warned, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." But what happens when someone doesn't improve you, when instead they exhaust you? These are the people who turn every conversation into a therapy session, but never do the work to heal. They treat your presence not as a gift, but as an outlet, not as a connection, but as a container for their chaos. They never ask how you are. They never pause to listen. Your words go unnoticed. Your advice? Ignored. Your presence? Taken for granted. They bring you their storms, but never invite you into their calm. This isn't friendship. This is a one-sided emotional contract, where your job is to absorb, endure, and enable. And the worst part? They make you feel guilty for needing space. They act wounded when you set boundaries, as if self-care is betrayal. But Stoicism teaches a higher standard. A friendship, in the eyes of the Stoics, must be mutual, an exchange of virtue, of growth, of shared strength. It's not about always being strong for someone. It's about becoming stronger together. So ask yourself, does this person leave you better or bitter? Do you feel light after seeing them or depleted? If your spirit feels heavy every time they enter the room, that's not a friend, that's a weight. Choose people who recharge you, not those who use you as a battery. Because your peace of mind is not just precious, it's sacred. 2. Those who celebrate your failures. A true friend suffers when you suffer. They feel your failures as if they were their own. They sit with you in the silence, without judgment or superiority. But beware of those whose support vanishes the moment you're down. These are the people who secretly celebrate your setbacks. Not loudly, not openly, but in small, almost invisible ways. They'll say, "Oh, that sucks," but their eyes say something else. They'll offer sympathy, but it's laced with satisfaction. Your failure makes them feel a little better about themselves. Because deep down, they were never rooting for you. They were competing with you. They needed you to stay just a step behind so they could keep feeling ahead. And when you succeed, they grow quiet, uncomfortable, distant. This isn't friendship. This is rivalry wearing a mask. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And people who secretly hope for your downfall, they pollute those thoughts. They plant seeds of doubt in your victories and comfort in your defeats. You deserve people who clap the loudest when you win. People who mourn your losses, not because it proves them right, but because they want nothing more than to see you rise again. The Stoic chooses relationships that nurture growth, not comparison. Support, not sabotage. So if someone's joy only awakens when you're struggling, it's time to walk away. Not with anger, not with revenge, but with wisdom. Because your peace of mind matters more than their hidden envy. 3. Those who gossip constantly. Seneca once said, "No man was ever wise by chance." And no one stays wise by surrounding themselves with whispers and deceit. Gossip may seem harmless, casual even. But the Stoics saw it for what it really is: a failure of character, a betrayal of trust, a subtle form of cruelty hiding behind a smile. Because gossip is never just about them, it's about us. It slowly poisons the soul of the speaker, the listener, and eventually, the entire room. People who constantly gossip are not sharing stories. They are stealing dignity. They dissect the lives of others to avoid confronting their own. Their whispers are never about justice. They're about judgment. Their laughter is never innocent. It's a signal. You're only safe when you're not the topic. And if they talk to you about others, make no mistake, they will talk about you to others. Marcus Aurelius warned, "The things you think about determine the quality of your mind." So if you spend your time in the minds and mistakes of other people, your own mind will grow weak, distracted, polluted. You'll begin to judge, to compare, to fear what others say about you behind closed doors. This isn't friendship. This is entertainment at someone else's expense. The Stoic way is to protect what is noble, to elevate what is good, to speak with integrity and walk with restraint. So if someone's mouth is always busy tearing others down, distance yourself. Because what you tolerate, you absorb, and what you absorb, you eventually become. Better to walk alone with your honor intact than to sit among the crowd and lose your soul one whisper at a time.
4. Those who constantly compete with you. There's a quiet kind of rivalry that wears the costume of friendship. On the surface, they laugh with you, cheer with you, even say they're proud of you. But underneath, they're keeping score. These are the people who can't celebrate you without comparing themselves, who turn every success you have into a silent competition they have to win. You get a new job, they downplay it. You share a passion project, they suddenly launch one too. You achieve a goal. They remind you of something bigger they've done. And slowly their presence makes you shrink, not because you're not enough, but because they need to feel like more. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." But these kinds of friends, they fear being seen as second best. They chase status, not substance. What's dangerous is how subtle it is. They might not insult you, but they'll outdo you. They'll never admit they're competing, but you'll feel it. Always one-upping, always trying to win. But Stoic friendships aren't built on comparison. They're built on virtue, on mutual elevation. A true friend doesn't measure your worth against their own. They want to rise with you, not above you. They believe in a world where both of you can succeed, without tension, without jealousy. So, how do you spot the difference? Simple. When you win, do they light up, or do they go quiet? When you fail, do they support you, or does it secretly satisfy them? Pay attention, because a competitor in disguise is more dangerous than an open enemy. At least enemies don't pretend to care. Let go of the need to impress. Let go of the people who make you feel like life is a scoreboard. The only person you should compete with is the person you were yesterday. 5. Those who pressure you to betray your values. Epictetus said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." But it's also impossible to grow when you're surrounded by people who drag you backwards, who laugh at your principles and call your discipline too much. These are the friends who mock your self-control, who tempt you to lie, cheat, or cut corners, who treat your values like they're limitations instead of signs of strength. They say things like, "Come on, Just once won't hurt. Don't be so uptight. No one will know, but you will know. You'll carry that compromise in your chest. It'll whisper every time you look in the mirror. You went against who you said you were. And slowly, your conscience erodes, not all at once, but in quiet layers. Because betrayal of the self doesn't always come with thunder. Sometimes it comes with laughter, peer pressure, and fake smiles. The Stoics believed that virtue, living in accordance with your highest self, was the ultimate good, that no matter how much pleasure, praise, or acceptance is worth the cost of your character. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, if it's not right, don't do it. If it's not true, don't say it. So what happens when your so-called friends push you to do both? That's not friendship. That's corrosion. People who love you won't pull you away from your principles. They'll guard them with you. They'll remind you who you are when you forget. And they'll never ask you to choose between their approval and your integrity. So if someone makes you feel weak for staying strong, step back. You don't owe anyone access to your soul, especially those who want to unshape it. 6. Those who take but never give. Seneca wrote, "There is no enjoying the possession of anything valuable unless one has someone to share it with." But what if the people you share with only take? We all know someone like this. They need your time, your ear, your support, always. When their world is on fire, they run to you. When their heart is broken, they cry on your shoulder. When they mess up, you're the one who bails them out. But when you fall, silence, excuses, disappearing acts. They only reach out when it benefits them. They remember your number when they need help, but forget your birthday. And what's worse, they make you feel guilty for even noticing, as if expecting mutual respect is selfish. But Stoicism teaches us to value reciprocity, not just in words, but in energy. Real friendship is not about keeping score, but it is about balance, about being seen, heard, supported. If every conversation leaves you feeling emptier than before, if every effort is one-sided without even a trace of gratitude, that's not friendship. That's emotional exploitation. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. But that doesn't mean you must endlessly pour into people who never pour back. Your kindness is a strength, but even the strongest river runs dry if the land only takes and never gives. You're not here to fix people. You're here to walk with those who are willing to rise beside you. So let go of the ones who treat your love like a resource, and choose the ones who see it as a gift.
7. Those who lie, even about small things. It starts small, a tiny white lie, an excuse, a half-truth that doesn't seem to matter. But over time, these little lies form cracks, and cracks destroy trust, not in an explosion, but in silence. The Stoics placed truth among the highest virtues, because truth is the root of all stability. Without it, nothing holds. Epictetus said, "If you wish to be good, first believe that you are bad," meaning you must see your flaws clearly and honestly. But the liar, especially the casual one, refuses this clarity. They hide from truth, not just from you, but from themselves. And someone who casually lies about the small things will lie about the big ones when it counts most, when you're vulnerable, when your heart is open, when the truth matters the most. The damage isn't just the lie, it's what it steals: safety, certainty, respect. You'll start to question every word, replay conversations, wonder what's real and what was rehearsed. And soon, the friendship becomes a performance, not a connection. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I will gladly change." Because the Stoic welcomes truth, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it hurts. But the liar avoids it. They smooth over discomfort with fiction. They choose the easy path at your expense. So ask yourself, can I trust their word when it matters? Or are their truths always convenient? Because in Stoic friendship, truth is not negotiable. It's the foundation. And without it, everything falls apart. Walk away from those who lie, not with anger, but with clarity. You are not cruel for wanting truth. You are courageous for demanding it. Number 8. Those who avoid responsibility. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But some people spend their entire lives avoiding this truth. They point fingers at the world, at their parents, their exes, their boss, the system, anywhere but inward. To them, everything is someone else's fault. And the moment you challenge that narrative, you become the next villain in their story. These are the people who never grow, because growth requires accountability. It requires you to say, yes, this is mine. I did this, and I will fix it. But the blame shifter would rather defend the same behavior that keeps them stuck. They wrap themselves in excuses. They dress immaturity up as just how I am. And they weaponize their past to justify their present. And here's the danger. They drain you, not just emotionally, but morally. Because if you stay close to them long enough, you begin to mirror them. You start justifying your own lapses. You catch yourself saying, well, it's not really my fault. And slowly you trade in your discipline for denial. The Stoics believed in radical self-ownership. Epictetus said, "It is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them." So when someone refuses to own their opinion, their choice, their reaction, they surrender their power. You cannot walk a Stoic path alongside someone who constantly avoids the weight of their own life, because you'll end up carrying it for them, and that weight was never yours to bear. Let them walk their journey alone, not out of bitterness, but out of respect for yourself. Because real friendship isn't about protecting someone's illusions. It's about calling each other higher. And if someone fights to stay small, don't shrink to make them comfortable. Grow anyway.
9. Those who always chase pleasure. Epictetus reminded us, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." But some people spend their lives running from discomfort, responsibility, growth. They chase fleeting pleasures like a moth to flame, always hungry for the next distraction, the next high, the next escape. These friends avoid pain, not because they are weak, but because they have never learned how to be strong. They despise silence, fear stillness, and reject the hard work of self-mastery. And when they pull you into their world, you feel it. A restless energy that never settles. An urgency to consume, to indulge, to forget. But Stoicism teaches that true freedom is found in mastering desires, not surrendering to them. That lasting happiness comes not from pleasure, but from virtue. Pleasure is not the enemy, but when it becomes the goal, it blinds you. It drains your strength, your focus, your peace.
And worse, pleasure chasers often envy those who choose discipline. They see your calm as boring, your boundaries as rigid, your purpose as unattainable. This envy can turn to subtle sabotage, pressuring you to join in, to lighten up, to live a little. Remember, your path is yours alone. No one else gets to decide your values, your pace, your purpose. Don't be pulled into the whirlwind of endless pleasure, because it's a storm that leaves you empty. Choose instead the quiet power of self-control, the deep satisfaction of meaningful work, and the enduring joy of inner peace.
10. Those who can't be happy for you. There is a special kind of loneliness when those closest to us can't celebrate our victories. A true friend lights up with your joy. Their happiness for you is genuine and contagious. They see your success as a reflection of what's possible for all. But some people, their smiles hide something darker. They are the ones who can't be happy for you. They compare, they compete, they resent. Every win you have reminds them of what they lack. And instead of cheering you on, they shrink back, begrudging your growth. This is a quiet poison, a subtle betrayal. It chips away at trust and warmth. It leaves you wondering if your happiness will ever be enough for them. Seneca said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." But how can you improve alongside someone who secretly wishes you to fail? Your circle should be your sanctuary, a place where your light is welcomed, not dimmed. So if someone cannot rejoice in your progress, not out of competition, but out of envy, remember, you deserve better. Walk toward those who celebrate your wins with open hearts, not those who carry grudges like burdens. Because your joy is not a threat. It is a gift. And true friends know how to receive it. 11. Those who disrespect boundaries. Your boundaries are the invisible walls that protect your time, your energy, and your peace of mind. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions than your own soul. But some people see boundaries as obstacles to overcome, rather than signs of respect. They call late at night, demanding attention. They show up without asking, expecting you to drop everything. They twist your no into guilt trips. They treat your limits as challenges, things to break down rather than honor. This is not love. This is control disguised as care. The Stoics taught us to respect ourselves first, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. Boundaries are an act of self-respect. They are the fences that keep your garden safe from weeds. And when someone constantly disrespects your boundaries, they disrespect you. A friend who cannot honor your limits is not a true friend. They are a drain on your peace, your focus, and your freedom. So be firm, be clear, protect your inner sanctuary, because your soul deserves space to breathe. Your mind deserves room to grow, and your life deserves people who honor your limits without question. The Stoics knew that friendship is sacred, but they also knew that not everyone deserves access to your inner world. You don't need many friends. You need the right ones. People who grow with you, people who challenge you, people who guard your peace, not violate it. So be kind, but discerning. Be generous, but wise. And above all, protect your mind. Because who you allow into your circle becomes your mirror. Choose wisely. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Comment below, "I choose my circle carefully." And remember what Epictetus said, "You are not harmed by the world, but by your perception of it." Thanks for watching. Stay strong. Stay stoic.